probably answer any question that you may have. So let me share my screen for a minute and we'll get started. Housekeeping wise, we will take questions at the end. So, you can type in the question in the chat. Swati from our team is around. So if you have any questions, she can also answer. Okay, so the big changes for the season, as you probably know, in the last 2 years at least, there was supplemental ERAS application. And this year that has been integrated, or parts of it have been integrated in the ERAS system. There was, they did a survey of the program directors, and they kind of figured out that a separate application, while it is not required, but there are aspects of the supplemental application like meaningful experiences that do help the residency programs. And so based on that, what they did was they integrated parts of the supplemental ERAS into the main ERAS application. So that's the first change. The big change is this one. Right. So far, there was no limit on the number of experiences, whether it is US clinical experiences, work experiences, hobbies, volunteering, research experiences. So this is a big change, that the total number of experiences are now limited to 10. So if for those of you who know the undergraduate system in the US, it is very similar to that system, which is a common application form, and the high schoolers are limited to 10 experiences. So I think from that perspective, there is a bit of a consistency here. So all your USCE work experience, research, volunteering, they have to fit into those 10 experiences. And then they have some more guidance around how descriptive the information can be, what type of experiences definitions are there. So you can all see that, but this is the big change, and we'll get to the implications of this change towards the end when we go over how this is going to impact you. But do understand that you are limited to 10 experiences. Then part of it also comes from like I said, the supplemental ERAS application. You can now choose, the rural, urban, suburban, like kind of a setting experience, that what your preferences are. So that is one change. Well, if you had done supplemental ERAS, you already are aware of it. So this is one change. Of course, the rural versus urban, it is not a requirement, but you can fill it up. Then is the geographical preferences. Again, this is part of it comes from the supplemental ERAS, and you can choose up to 3 divisions. There are 7 divisions. You can choose your preferences for the programs. When you're applying to, as an IMG, maybe 200 odd programs, then you can choose if you have a geographic preference. You can also say, I do not have a geographic preference, or you can just leave this question blank, or you can choose up to 3 geographical settings. Again, an important question. How do you handle this thing? And maybe as part of the Q&A, we'll get into it. It all depends on your profile. So if you have family in a particular city, state, geography, and you really have done all your experiences, you have a lot of ties to that state, maybe you want to say that that particular area is one of your preferences. But if you have, let's say, red flags or low scores, or you want to cast a wider net, then probably you can say that you do not have any geographical preferences. So that's the one big thing that you should be aware of. And then there are the question of the hometown. So for most IMGs, it is clear from their application that where they grew up, where they went to med school, what the hometown is. And for most of you, it'll be outside US, but you have more than one options there. So you can enter up to 5 hometowns, and many IMGs will enter one of the hometowns as the city, state, etc., where they did a lot of US clinical experience, and that should be fine. But remember, where you grew up, where you went to med school, etc., is also an option, and you should take it. We don't think that hometown is in any way or shape going to filter out the applicants. Postgraduate training, of course, for those of you who have home country residency, and especially it is ACGME accredited. This is, similar to last time. So there's no change, but if you have home country or postgraduate training, that is something that can come in handy for you. So there's not much of a change here. Although now, of course, you can mention the duration and things like that. But the challenge here is if it was accredited, then you can write it. Otherwise, you have to maybe put it as part of higher education or experience. Then this was the part that I was talking about. So you can select up to 10 experiences that you want to highlight in the ERAS CV. So this need not be the most recent ones, although we do encourage the more recent the experience, the better it is. And you can go through as you go through the ERAS format, you will see it ask you for the organization, experience type, and your title, etc., context, role, and responsibility. So they've tried to make it more structured. The ERAS application now is becoming more and more structured so that everyone can have a kind of a level playing field. Experience categories, as you can probably see, whether it was education, research, volunteering, work, extracurricular. So they've combined all those categories, and we'll come to the implications of this in a minute. Focus area, of course, as you will see those options, whether it was basic sciences, clinical, customer service, improvement to healthcare, medical education, etc. So fairly intuitive that you can go through. Then what they want to do is they will give you an option of picking up 3 meaningful experiences, and meaningful experiences, as they explain. Again, this is coming from the supplemental ERAS. So from one perspective, this is not new. This was done last year. It's just now integrated in the ERAS. So meaningful experiences are, as the name suggests, something that influenced you, something that impacted you as a physician, as a human, how it changed you, and maybe even helped you impact others, whether it was your patients or it was some kind of a teamwork or anything. A lot of students who have had experiences during the COVID times. So for example, inpatient experience, COVID experience, those kind of, they have been successfully using these meaningful experiences in their application. So like I said, it was part of the supplemental ERAS. So as you probably all know, COVID experience was hopefully once in a lifetime, but it was quite stressful. Ability to handle that stress, working with teams, whether it was counseling the patients or their families, a lot of skills and experiences were the students were able to demonstrate, very rightly so, as part of the COVID experience, when they worked in COVID. So those would be the kind of experiences, not to say that only COVID experience matters, but there are these experiences that will help you if you have these kind of meaningful experiences could be US clinical experiences, could be in your home country as well. Then again, like last season or the 2 seasons, now you are able to signal individual programs. So what happens is, let's say you did US clinical experience, your elective at a particular program, you like them and you would want to, go a step forward and indicate formally your interest in the program. So you can put in that signal. So as you can see, IM allows you 7 and other specialties, neurology, EM, pediatrics. So these are the signals that you can use, you should use. So obviously, if you signal a program, they will know that you are interested. And if you did not signal a program, what they will know is that they will know that you did not choose them. So use the signals wisely. Use it. Again, it is a very personal decision, but look at the programs where you have a realistic chance. And if you are for example, a Sarthi student, you will, you'll be able to see for your profile which our programs have been sending out interviews over the last 3, 4, 5 years. So based on your profile, that's the first thing. Second, if you've done rotations at a program, maybe that's a way to pick the signal. Maybe you have done some research at the program, things like that. So, one is your alignment of your profile with what a program is looking for. Second is your experience with the programs, if they know you and things like that. So use the signals wisely. Of course, then there are these experiences and how you need to write them. Again, if you're a Sarthi students, we'll go over this as part of the review of your application. Meaningful, impactful experiences are going to be important. You're limited to 3 out of those 10. So, take some time to think about it. Now, the main question that many of you will have is, how does this ERAS CV, the changes in the ERAS CV, impact us? So like everything else, it will take time and a bit of a research as the new format is used in the next 2, 3, 4 years, and maybe there will be more changes. But this is what we feel. The biggest change is going to be for people who are applying to multiple specialties. Now you're limited to 10 experiences. So it's going to be a challenge for you if you, let's say, are applying to IM, FM, psychiatry, and things like that. You don't want a situation where a program director or a program committee for IM feels that for you, IM is a backup because they see a lot of psychiatry experiences, or vice versa. So the challenge for you, the biggest challenge for you is going to be, how do you prioritize these experiences and decide even, whether applying to multiple specialties is actually worth it? Is it diluting your focus on a specialty? So I think that is the first kind of change that we'll see. People will try to focus, and therefore applications to multiple specialties may not be as effective. I know you can change the LORs, as you probably know, you can sign different LORs, you can have different personal statements, but ERAS CV cannot change, and that's the limitation. You are limited to 10, right? Older graduates and repeat applicants. So the challenge with older graduates is going to be, you have a wealth of experience. Some of you maybe 5, 7, 10 years of YOG. So what to choose, what to pick, because you are likely to have more than 10 experiences. And, how do you pick the most relevant ones, which will create the most impact? That is your challenge. And like I said, our team, if you join us, we'll help you through all of this. But older graduates will now have a big challenge in terms of selecting those experiences. And similar will be the case with repeat applicants. If you have been applying for, say, a couple of years, you will have a lot of probably US clinical experience or work experience. So how do you prioritize given this specialty, given your focus? I think that's a big challenge, because till now, till last year, you did not need to make this prioritization. You could go ahead, but now that is going to be a challenge. So the biggest beneficiaries of this change could be recent graduates. We don't know yet, by the very fact that recent graduates in general will have less than 10 or limited number of experiences. So they can probably showcase the entire breadth of their skills and experiences. If you have high scores and you're a recent graduate, then I think the new ERAS CV actually gives you this template to paint a much broader brush and explain those experiences. Of course, all of you should remember that there is a character limit also. So you will have to be brief within the character limit to explain these experiences. Now, the last thing which I wanted to highlight before we open up for questions is you are limited to 10, but that does not mean only US clinical experience, only work experience and academic experience. You should make it a point, hopefully, to have at least one volunteer experience, maybe more, depending on the specialty. So family medicine, of course, as we know, favors a lot more giving back to the community kind of experiences. So make sure you have volunteering in there. Hobbies, especially if you have hobbies that are unique, that you can talk about for 15, 20 minutes. So rather than just saying cooking or playing cricket or something, if you have hobbies that have made an impact on others as well as have influenced you, and not passive, not saying, binge watching a show, etc. But if you have hobbies that are interesting, I think at least one hobby you can do out of those 10. And likewise, research is going to become increasingly important as part of the USMLE journey. And so they will expect, if you have research experiences, to get one of the 10 experiences as a research experience. And again, if you guys are interested, we do have research courses that can help you as well. But overall, we briefly wanted to give you a sense of what is changing in ERAS. What should you, given your profile, be working on, and then hopefully get a stellar application out. So with that, let me stop it here, and we can take up questions. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer. So let me see if I can get any questions that I haven't answered. So, if you have questions, you can put it in the chat. Or of course, you can send us an email later on as well. And if you're a Kaplan student, Mr. Nicholas is here as well. So. Any questions that we can answer to you? What are the chances of someone's matching without research experience? So this question is coming from Isaac. So I think, as you probably have realized, matching is a portfolio of experiences. So it depends on your scores, depends on your year of graduation, the electives you have done. Research is, like I said, an important part of the journey. I won't say that and also step 3. So while these are not required, their importance will increase every season. So in isolation, hard for me to say whether you can match without research experience. I think we'll have to look at your profile, but it will continue to become difficult without some kind of relevant research. And we do have profile reviews open. So if you want to send your profile to us, we can take a look, and then we can maybe guide you better on a one-on-one basis. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have 2 questions. Last year, USA will be okay.
So again, programs do expect continuous clinical experiences. But if you do not have recent USCE, however, you were working in your home country and you have a strong USCE from last year, I think it should be fine.
So next question is like, we are getting all the time this question. Can step 3 help in the application?
And the short answer is yes. Step 3, while I said is not a requirement, but it is again becoming increasingly important, just because step 1 has gone pass fail. CS is no longer there for those of you who remember CS. So the assessment of the IMGs, the quantifiable aspects that the programs used for match for IMGs have reduced. So step 3 has increased. Again, if you are an older graduate with gaps, low scores, attempts, I think step 3 is more important for you. For recent graduates, if you have very high scores, maybe step 3 is not that important.
And apart from this, we have lots of videos how step 3 help IMGs to match. So you can watch other videos on our YouTube channel, that is USMD Sarthi. And the next question is, what is a specially needed for diagnostic radiology? What is specially needed for diagnostic radiology?
I'm sorry, Swati, what did you say?
Yeah, what is specially needed for diagnostic radiology?
Okay, so diagnostic radiology, a lot of our students have matched in past. So diagnostic radiology does need relevant research, hopefully in a US university. Score-wise, they are at least as competitive as I am. So a lot of research and good scores.
So next question is, will telerotation will be considered equally as there is still difficulty getting a visa interview date? And how Sarthi can help if no one is able to find a hands-on?
Yes, so we can help you with the rotations, and Swati, maybe you can put some link for telerotations. And programs do understand that if you have issues with visa, cannot travel, telerotations are okay as of now. Now, telerotations are of 2 kinds. One is didactic based, the other is where you actually have patient interaction. So telerotations are okay. But try to get to US as soon as possible. We have had students last year who matched only with the telerotations.
I think next question is, what is the potential application of an IM matched applicant look like, scores and overall?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, what is the potential application of an IM matched applicant look like? Scores and overall.
Okay, so if you, let's say you're a visa seeking IMG, if you matched in IM, and we have a lot of data from our students, you have at least 230s and more in your step exams. You generally are 5-year or less in YOG, 1 or 2 research publications, and at least 4 to 5 months of USC. But again, this is like I said, a lot of things can change here. In general, IM looks for very high scores with some research experience in USCE.
So this is I think this is the question we were thinking, like we will get these kind of questions from this doctors. Now, finally, it's here. For someone who is applying for multiple specialities, how can we make ERAS CV considering the fact that only 10 experiences are allowed?
Yeah, so that's what I
This
said,
is a
right?
good, yeah.
This is a good question. And are these coming on YouTube, all these questions?
No, all these are on Zoom only.
Okay,
In the
so
chat.
like I said, it is a challenge, and in general, related experiences are going to be the flavor. So, for example, if you are applying to IM and FM, so the primary care experiences probably can work for both specialties. So those kind of experiences will help. If you are applying for IM and pathology, that's going to be very hard to kind of synchronize. So that's where I think the challenge is. Do you put in the more recent experience? Do you put in the experience which you may not have done recently but relates to both specialties? So I think everyone will have to do the balance.
So we have the questions from YouTube as well. So the first question is, if we have two research experiences from different hospitals, can we include these in one?
So again, I think there will be some kind of improvisation needed in your ERAS CV. You have to balance this. So if you're running out of the space for those experiences, if they are related fields, if the research is in the related field, probably you can put it as one. But again, it's hard for us to say without having looked at the application, and that's where if you really are interested, we can help you as part of our plans. We'll have to look at your application.
So someone is asking, she has good scores, recent biology, done the 3 USC, but no research experience. What are the chances, like what they should do?
So there are still options to do remote research, like we do have research courses, but so you can still get a submission by September. Good scores, I don't know the definition of good scores, what you mean by good scores, but if you are applying to internal medicine, if you have 240 plus, I think you should go ahead and apply.
Yeah, the scores is 245 and step 1 is pass.
Okay.
So I think that's it. Okay, one more question. Is 253 in step 2 CK competitive enough for internal medicine?
So the score by itself is competitive enough. I don't think, the 253 is a very good score, but we have to look at the other aspects.
So I think Dr. Adi, you can book a free profile review with us, and our experts can help you on that. Thank you. I think Dr. Isaac is having again one question. Can one use a research done in med school?
Of course, you can use that research from med school. There is no criteria that you cannot use it. Hopefully that was recent, and hopefully you were able to publish it in a PubMed index journal. Those are some of the important criteria, but you can use it.
Okay, so next question is, what is your take on IMGs and couple match?
So IMGs and couple match have done. I mean, our students have regularly, those who are couple, of course, have matched. It is a slightly different kind of, from a program perspective, it's different from the AMGs. So a lot of students think about AMG couple match being almost 100%. So we should go for a couples match. You have to see the profile of both the applicants. If one of them have a very high score, the other has low scores and all, it tends to be hard. It is definitely doable, but it's not as easy as the AMG couple match.
Okay, and let me answer this question. Are people getting visa for USC, and how difficult it is? So visa, yes, it's quite difficult, but you can go for tele-rotations if you are applying this season. So we have lots of tele-rotations, and we are running discounts as well on tele-rotations. So you can check our website for that. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. And if there are no other questions, thank you very much. And thank you, Kaplan, again, Mr. Nicholas Valentini. Thank you for the opportunity. Let us know if you have any other questions, and our Swati will be there anyway. If you need to grab some links and all that, or have any other questions, let us know.